Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new, hi, my name is Madison and I currently work full-time as a school nurse and then PRN on the labor and delivery floor. If you guys are not already, make sure you follow me on my Instagram and TikTok. I will put them right here and then also down below in the description. Only if you want to, you don't have to, but today I thought it would be the perfect time to go over some nursing school finals study tips and the things that help me pass my exams and get through nursing school. I know your guys' finals are probably coming up really soon. I did bring out all of my notes. Some of them are online, but these are all the ones that I have like printed. This is like my pride and joy of nursing school. And before we get into the video, I wanted to say a huge thank you to Factor for sponsoring this video. If you guys have never heard of Factor before, Factor makes meeting your nutritional goals easier than ever by providing fresh, never frozen meals right to your front door that are dietitian approved and made with ingredients only with integrity that keep you feeling your best all day long. As always, I do have a discount code for you guys. All you guys have to do, you can scan the QR code right here or head over to factor75.com and use my code MadisonFB50 to get 50% off your first Factor box and free breakfast for 1 year. Again, that is factor75.com and use my code MadisonFB50 to get 50% off your first Factor box and free breakfast for 1 whole year. Factor has recently just doubled the size of their menu with 2 times the seafood options and 2 times the protein options with 80 rotating meals every week. On top of the Factor meals, Factor also offers breakfasts, smoothies, juices, and also some wellness shots. I love Factor meals because not only are they delicious, but they are just super quick and easy, especially working as a nurse. It's super easy to pack for your 12-hour shifts. You just heat it up for 2 minutes in the microwave and you have a quick, healthy meal during your busy shift. I definitely recommend you guys checking out Factor. Again, everything will be linked down below in the description, and all you have to do is head over to factor75.com or scan the QR code here and use my code MadisonFB50 to get 50% off your first Factor box and free breakfast for 1 whole year. Again, thank you Factor for working with me, and let's go ahead and get started with the video. So I feel like it would not be a Maddie video unless I started the video just reminding you guys you have to give yourself grace in nursing school and just in general in life. It's something that I always try to remind myself. You just have to be kind and patient with yourself and give yourself grace. We're only human. We make mistakes. We're not going to do amazing on every exam. You know, one bad exam score, one final score does not define how you would be as a nurse or you as a student. It does not define you. Just wanted to give you a little quick reminder on that, to just be patient, give yourself grace. Yes, I did great on some nursing exams and I also did not do good on some nursing exams, but once I found the way of what helped me study, then I started having more consistent, better grades on exams. I have my little study tips here on my phone. I wrote them all down. I've been like brainstorming the past couple of weeks, like what are the things that really stood out that helped me figure out how to correctly study for nursing school, because it's a lot different than pre-nursing and high school and everything like that. So my first study tip for nursing school finals would be taking advantage of the online resources that there are on YouTube. Using the online resources like Nurse Mike, Registered Nurse RN, they are incredible resources, and other videos on YouTube too of certain things like the physiological process of, for example, like diabetes on the body or congestive heart failure, seeing like an anatomical view and seeing how certain things are like working when there's illness. I feel like that is super beneficial. Registered Nurse RN, she just breaks down the concepts and she just does such an amazing job going over the manifestations of a certain illness or a disease, this medications. She just covers everything. I'd turn Registered Nurse RN on YouTube on my TV at night. I'd go to sleep listening to her. I'd wake up and I'd put YouTube like on in my car and listen to it over the radio on my way to school. It was like a podcast. I'm always listening to her. Also gives different ways to like remember certain things, or maybe she'll say something my professor didn't say. I'm like, oh my gosh, the way she explained that was so much more easier to digest. Study tip number 2 would be to use a dry erase board or get a dry erase board. And if you've been watching my videos since I was in pre-nursing or nursing school, this is not a surprise to you. I am so obsessed with using a dry erase board when it comes to studying. So I had like a little mini like handheld dry erase board I would use. I also had like a semi like bigger dry erase board I would use. And then also I would go to the library and the study rooms and use the dry erase boards there and just brain dump stuff. Writing stuff down helps me remember things. So that's why I always loved handwriting notes, but there's so much information in nursing school, I would have to type them. So then I would add stuff in here or there, but just writing stuff out out helped me so much, or drawing out certain diagrams or making charts for material. Everyone learns differently. For me, writing stuff out, that allows me to remember it. And when I'm typing in class and stuff, that is just, it does not compare to me actually like writing it, seeing the words and writing it out. I don't even know. It just makes such a huge difference. So if you feel like you're someone like that who you learn better with maybe different charts or pictures and stuff, taking the material and putting it into like a chart form on the dry erase board, or just writing things out, or if there were certain things I couldn't remember, I would write it over and over and over until I would get it. It helped me so much because writing that out really helped things stick into my mind when it came time to sit down for like the exam, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, like I remember writing that out. Just cannot stress a dry erase board enough. Study tip number 3 is doing a little brain dump concept map. Okay, so I will show you some examples from my notes in school, and these, just looking at these, make me so happy. So this is actually a blank page with like this little concept map our teacher had given us. You could print copies, fill it out if you wanted to use it to study. Here on this paper, what I would do is I would brain dump all of the information that I knew on type 1 diabetes. So say the exam or the final, or one of the topics was type 1 diabetes. Okay, boom, putting it in the middle. This one I'm going over type 1. So I'd put down anything that I could remember from the top of my head that I've been studying through notes and stuff, and then I would go back, I would check my work and see what did I forget. So then I would write it in a different color. So here, I kind of forgot, that's kind of important, that it was a sub-Q injection. So I put that in a different color, in pink or anything, and not black was what I forgot. That also helps me remember when I am taking the test. I'm like, oh, I remember that I had forgotten that it was a X, Y, and Z. On the back here, it looks like I just added some like additional notes. This was not from like memory, but anything on diabetes I put on the back. So I had like this little paper here, type 2 diabetes, and then this one here, I have all stuff about gestational on the back, cellulitis. Here again, filling in what I missed with a different color. So these helped me a lot. And even if you don't want to use a paper, you want to use a dry erase board, you can literally do this on a dry erase board and just fill up the whole board and what you know, and then go in with a different color. It was very beneficial. So the 4th study tip would be talking things out or teaching someone. For nursing school, it is not memorization. If you think memorization is going to get you through nursing school, it is not. Maybe a little bit with like pharmacology and like meds memorizing, but you really have to understand the whole concept. And being able to talk it out helped me so much. So I would pretend I'm like teaching my class in my room. I would just talk to myself and fake teach. I'd use my dry erase board for hours and hours and hours. And then if you are lucky enough and have someone who would be kind enough to listen to you and maybe even ask some questions, that could be super beneficial too. There were so many times that my sweet mom or my little brother, he probably was like 10 or 11 at the time, would sit there and just listen to me like teach them something, and they would ask questions, and then their questions would help me. So study tip number 5 would be practice questions, whether it be ATI questions or registered nurse RN has practice questions. I believe they're linked in her description after each of her videos to see if you retain the information. New practice questions help so much. It took me a little later on in nursing school, maybe my 2nd semester, to start doing the practice questions. That helps you know how questions are going to be laid out in nursing school, and also helped build my confidence for select all that apply questions. Because I remember at first, as soon as I saw a select all, I'd be like, oh, well, shit, like I would just immediately freak out. And when I started just taking a deep breath when I saw it and reading each option and blocking out all the other options and looking at A first. Okay, what is the option for A? Okay, is that true or false? Okay, what's the B? Is that true or false? Do them until you can't do practice questions anymore. I felt like I started doing a lot better on exams and answering questions better once I started doing a lot of practice questions at home and prepping for exams. Study tip number 6 is study groups. Now this can be beneficial to some people and maybe not others. For me, when I was in nursing school, study groups were great for me. But are we going to go to the study group and are we going to talk the whole time, or are we going to be an anxious ball of anxiety, all of us being like, oh my gosh, like blah, 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 kind of like bitching about nursing school or whatever, or are we going to get stuff done? So I felt like sometimes it was not beneficial for me, but then I figured out that study groups helped me the most when I was like pretty confident in the material, and then I could go in and we could bounce ideas off of each other, explain stuff to each other. But I needed to be pretty strong on the content, because if I went to a study group and I wasn't confident on it, if anything, it would make me so much more stressed. And then I'd be like, oh my gosh, like they've been studying all of this and I didn't know that I was supposed to study that. Or it just could lead to a lot of anxiousness or us just talking. It can be a hit or miss, but if you find like a good group that you guys can focus, that is definitely very beneficial. But I needed to have a good handle on the material before I ever went to like a study group, or else for me, I wouldn't have gotten anything out of it. Study tip number 7, Quizlet. I love Quizlet. I was using Quizlet in high school. I used it throughout college, and I really used it in nursing school. I'm gonna give you guys just an example of my notes and how I turn them into like Quizlet questions. I've done a whole video on how I took like my nursing school notes and everything, but I would copy and paste all the information from the PowerPoint and I'd put it in black ink, and then anything the teacher added on or set into addition, I would type it into red. So here is an example. So for here, I chose purple ink, and then anything the teacher said in class, pretty much word for word, I try to type it in red, and then I'd print it, go through, and I'd add stuff, highlight. But what I would do is I would turn these into questions on Quizlet. For example, here it says like fat soluble vitamins, A, D, E, K. So I'd have like one flashcard, it would say, what are the fat soluble vitamins? Okay, A, D, E, K. What are the fluid requirements per day? That'd be a question, and I'd put like 30 to 35 mLs per kilogram per day on the other side. So I'm basically turning my notes into questions. Like I would try to turn these into a Quizlet as soon as I could. So even before the exam, I was going through stuff constantly. Study tip number 8 would be taking advantage of your textbook and the articles that the teachers share in class. I love my nursing textbooks. I had so many. I still have most of them. Some of them were like this thick. It would be so overwhelming. There'd be so much reading. Our teachers would pull things and put it on exams. It would just be like 1 or 2 questions. Every point matters in nursing school. Like it matters so much. And I remember be like, oh my gosh, they are pulling things from there. So even like little charts, like it'd be like diagram like 3-5 or something, like certain things, if the teachers tell you to go over it, go over that. Because I remember there were times like, where are they pulling this information from? They didn't go over it in class, like blah blah blah. And sure enough, I'd go in the book and it would be like in a little chart there. Like, so they are smart. They are trying to get us. I have a perfect example right here of what I would do. I literally took a picture of one of the boxes in our textbook and I printed it out and I put it with my notes, so everything was together. This was from the book too. Any articles that they would attach in our Canvas that we needed to read, I would print them out, highlight important points, and then briefly review it for like a final or an exam, because you never know, like they're not just giving this to you for fun. Maybe they are, but a lot of the times they will pull 1 or 2 questions from something like that. So the 9th study tip that I have for nursing school finals is using Pinterest. I have worked so hard on my Pinterest to get it kind of like organized and stuff, and then I realized I had never shared it with you guys or like told you guys like about it. Okay, so on my Pinterest, so I do have all things nursing board, and then I also have a nursing study guide, and I love the images that look like this. They have like a picture, there's colors on it and like diagrams, and then it gives you all the information on a certain like illness or disease. Under nursing study guides, I broke them all down into, I have pediatrics, acid-base imbalance, so like pH, electrolytes, critical care, pharmacology, labor and delivery, and med surg, and then I just have some like random ones. I was trying to like categorize them. All of these images, I use them within my nursing school notes. Like little images like this, they're cute, they're fun. It can help me remember when I go through things. More pictures in here. Here we have amniocentesis. So I have like an image here, and it's just nice having everything again in your notes all together. And then I believe these were notes from a video here. So I add the video like link, and then I add my notes. But I try to put everything in one space when it's coming time to study. That's why my study guides were so important to me. I do have a video up where I go through making my study guide. I will link that down below if you guys are interested. But if you guys have any other study tips that help you get through nursing school exams and finals, please comment them down below. I want the comment section to be a super positive, helpful space. Build each other up and give each other some encouragement for finals coming up. Just know that you are capable of becoming a nurse and passing your exams, and remember that a bad score does not define how you will be as a nurse. It does not define who you are. Let me know what kind of videos you guys are interested in seeing now from me. Sometimes I don't post because I'm like, I don't know, does anyone like me? I don't know. It's just, I get in my head. Thank you guys so much for all of your love and support. As always, it means so much to me, and I hope you guys have such an amazing Thanksgiving this week if you celebrate, and I will see you guys in my next video.